So there can be certain consequences to actions that we take. I used to work at a job that I hated. At first, it was very fun. I got along well with my coworkers, my supervisors, my bosses, and I knew that with all this new knowledge and experience with the job, I'd be able to build my resume and be able to get a higher position and pay. After a while, though, my coworkers and supervisors and bosses started coming into work with attitudes and getting into arguments with each other. It was just a very bad environment. On top of that, my supervisors would add more hours onto my schedule, even though they knew I was supposed to be part-time and only work a maximum of 30 hours for the week. After they found out that I was going into overtime for a good amount of months, maybe, they pulled me aside and told me that I need to be looking at my hours and making sure that I'm not going into overtime. So after they had told me that, I quit, and then I was unemployed for a good 4 months. All my mom could tell me was she told me not to quit a job before having one lined up. But I couldn't get over them getting mad at me for going into overtime for the schedules that they make. Quitting my job before having another one lined up taught me a lesson. I learned that I should have taken what they told me with a grain of salt. If I would have just looked at other jobs after that day, and then after I found one, put in my 2 weeks or quit, then I would have been fine. I wouldn't have been unemployed, and I wouldn't have been taking money out of my savings. There was a substantial amount of time that I was unemployed and taking money out of my savings. And if I would have just taken it with a grain of salt, then I wouldn't have to have that happen to me. I also learned that I'm not going to like everywhere that I work. We don't live in a perfect world, so I'm not going to find a perfect job. And then I was younger when this happened, so there's always going to be faults wherever I work. In conclusion, I spoke to you today to inform you of the lesson that I learned from quitting a job before I could really think about the consequences. Since then, I learned that from now on, I should only quit a job once I know that I have one lined up already. And after that, I save a lot more money, and I make sure that I do also put my 2 weeks in case I have to go back to another job. I now know to always think about the consequences I might endure before I make an action happen. Thank you.